Who's ready for more of my wedding trivia history nonsense? Yep, that's right. This is my May update for Old, New, Gifted, and Blue. And I'm even wearing blue today. Aren't you guys proud of me? I don't normally manage to match that well. It just kind of worked out. Okay, so before we get into any of the deets, I am asking you once again to please do all of the things. You know what they are. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Give me a thumbs up if you like my craziness. Leave me a comment. Ring the notification bell if you want to know when I do more of my craziness. All of those things. The new thing that I've added in that I keep forgetting, I just started adding in, is if you want to share this video, you are also more than welcome to do that. I don't know that I've ever done that other than emailing them to myself, but regardless, if you want to, go right ahead. I'm cool with that. Okay, so Old, New, Gifted, Blue. This is the project that Jessica created for Misty. You guys should know this by now. And they opened it up to all of the rest of us. And I jumped in right away. Quite a few people have now. So look for that hashtag, Old, New, Gifted, Blue. And you'll be able to find other people's videos. You can find it on Instagram. If you're playing along at home, throw it in the comments. I'd love to know what you're doing if I can't find it anywhere else. And I do try and get on Instagram. I'm not active there, but I do try and at least occasionally catch up with other people. So I know my IG's listed all the time in the description box, but I don't post a lot there. Anyway, I will also have, of course, Jessica's and Misty's channels both linked because this is kind of their brainchild. So they will be in the description box also. Okay. So let's see. This started January 24th. It's a rolling style project. It has monthly updates, but no end date. There's no sign up, no spreadsheet, none of that kind of stuff. It is simply the 4 items you choose. You set goals. You can finish whatever you want to do. And basically, that's kind of all you really need to know. It's not a tough one. It's a really fun one. And since it's so open-ended, anybody can jump in at any time without feeling like they're missing something because they didn't start at the beginning. I know sometimes that will hold me back a little bit on some things, but okay. So a couple of housekeeping details. This is the NYX Pore Filler Primer that I had in here, and I want to say I put this in March. It wasn't done at the April update, although I did roll in another product. I promised you I'd come back and show you that, yes, I did finish it off. So this is going to be going into the empties. Okay, I think that is my main housekeeping. So let's talk about what I did have in April. First thing I rolled in for my old product was my Tree Hut Sugar Scrub. Sugar Lips. That's what they call it. It is a lip scrub. It is brown sugar cinnamon, basically, is what it tastes like to me, or maybe just brown sugar. I don't know. It has gone down. So we started with this at 18.6 grams. I'm at 17.4, and that's what's left. But I wanted to do this before I added a couple more drops of oil because this is getting dried out and chunky. And the way to refresh these, because I make my own scrubs, is you just throw a little bit of oil in it. Now, I'm probably going to just do some olive oil since it's on my lips. I'm going to use the stuff that I keep in my cabinet for cooking just because it's on my mouth, you know. And I'm trying to think if it's in the body scrubs, if it's coconut oil that I use. I don't know. I'd have to look the recipe up. But anyway, so this is going to end up weighing a little bit more because I'm going to add some oil into it. So the actual difference that we have is 1.2 grams that I have used of what's left of the product. So this one is staying in. I do not have a new roll-in for that this month. Then the new thing that I had last month was the Sephora Vanilla Perfume Sampler. Got the card, got my notes. We went through Juliet Has a Gun, Valentino's, this one is Valentino Donna Born in Roma, Floral Street Wild Vanilla Orchid, that one's done. And these were all just the little, even this one was just the little sprays, so empty. I did keep them all in the packaging just because it made it easier to figure out what was what. Now, the Atelier Vanille Intense, you cannot actually get anymore, so that one wasn't something I had to really worry about too much. Then there's the replica by the fireside sampler, which was interesting. Then we've got the Nest Madagascar Vanilla. This I did not finish. This is not a spray. I'm counting this as being done, but I'm going to hold on to this one and keep it out of my empties because these are hard for me to use. I actually need to put it into some kind of a spray so that I can mist myself with it. But I know it is not the one that I'm choosing, so I wasn't overly concerned with it. But for the sake of transparency and being completely honest, because that's how I am. Okay, then we had the 7 Virtues Vanilla Woods. It looks like there's a little bit in the bottom, but I can't get any more of it out, so I'm calling it good. And then, of course, the Yves Saint Laurent Black Opium. And this is the one that I actually decided that I am going to go with because I had this one in the other perfume sampler, and I had a different Valentino in that one. So I'm going to get the Black Opium from this one and the Valentino from the other one. That was the reason this was in here, so I could make those decisions and get my free perfumes before they stop carrying something else that I love. You know, it would just be how that works. So that was my new. So we will have a new this month. It sounded good in my head until I said it out loud, and then I realized it really wasn't as humorous as it could have been. But, you know, whatever. All right. So for my gifted, I have this little baby bottle of the NYX. This one is the Dewy Finish setting spray. And this started at, what did it start at? 29.4 grams. This is a 0.6 ounce, 18 milliliter bottle. I'm not completely done with it. It's at 15.3 grams, but there's very little left in this. And I don't know how much is packaging. So, I mean, I've used, what is that? 14.1 grams of the product already. I'm going to add a roll-in with this. And then, of course, I'll just do the same thing I did with the NYX primer where I'll show you the empty bottle. Because I think I've only got a day, maybe 2 left in that. All right, so my blue item was actually kind of a violet item because apparently I was having a moment. I'm not colorblind. I'm actually very good at color matching, so I don't know why this looked blue to me when I was looking at it. But this was the Tatcha, the Dewy Serum. Yeah, the Dewy Serum. Okay, I was thinking cream, but it's a serum. It's lovely. I finished it completely. I really do like it. I don't like the Tatcha prices, but I can see why people like this. This is a really nice product. I did use it completely. Oh, okay, maybe, well, you know what? We'll just throw that little dribble back on to my forehead. So what if we have makeup on? We use every last drop. These things are expensive. Oh my God, this video is going to be another one where I look like a moron. Shocking, huh? All right, so this is an empty despite that weird dribble, and this is going to be going into the empties also. So we will have a roll-in for that. But I know the reason you guys come back and watch me is because of my bizarre fascination with wedding history trivia type of stuff. This month, I actually was going to look at bachelorette parties because I've already done bridal showers. But what I realized is that I couldn't do bachelorette parties without actually starting with bachelor parties. So this month's history lesson trivia knowledge is on bachelor party, bachelor night, stag weekend, stag do, stag party, bucks night, depending on where you are from. So there's several definitions here. So I'm going to run through what they are. For bachelor, it came up, and I'll list all my articles like I always do because, like I said, it came up with a bunch of different definitions. It could be just simply a young knight. It could be a student with a bachelor's degree. It could be a young knight in training. It could be a young knight who followed the banner of another. It could come from the old French word meaning farmhand. Only found one reference on that, and that one seemed a little bit strange, and I'm not sure why farmhand. But it is also in reference to a young unmarried man. Now, for the word stag, it's a little bit different. Stag definitely denotes the male of any species, basically is the definition of that. But the connotations, as I stumble over my tongue again, of stags and bucks, it's the leader of the pack or herd, the connotation of virility, male, vigor, ardor, strength, vitality, all of that. And there was a reference that said that this could be derived from the pagan wild animal hunts representing, those specifically represented well fertility and the underworld. Well, alrighty then. Okay, so there is also a couples version of this. Now, we're going to talk about the bachelorette party probably next month. So I'm going to just kind of give you the little bit of a preview. When they're done with the couple, with both of them, they are called hen and stag parties, stag and doe parties, or Jack and Jill parties. Did not know that's what they were called, but that is what I found. All right, so where did this come from? All of the sources that I found say that it dates back to the Spartans, 5th century. Yeah, 5th century BC on that. And it was a celebration of the groom's last night as a single man. It was usually a dinner with all males, and they toasted each other. Now, part of the reason is that Spartans often died fairly young. They didn't actually become full-fledged warriors until they were 30, and then they remained in active service until the age of 60. So it was a kind of a comrades in arms type of thing. If there was going to be a marriage, they would actually toast each other. And then they would also toast the groom. But part of the groom's responsibility from this part of the tradition is a pledge to continue to be loyal to the brothers in arms, the comrades, the rest of the Spartans, basically. So that is how that kind of came about. Now, the word bachelor itself actually first appeared in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. And I know I have read this, but it has been so long because I think I read it in high school. I didn't bother to go back and find a copy of it to actually look because I found it listed as being either 14th century or 15th century. So somebody had the wrong date on that. But basically, a bachelor in Canterbury Tales just referenced an unmarried man. Now, bachelor party as a phrase is first ever written, as far as we know, in 1922 in the Journal of Literature, Science, and Arts, which was a publication by William Chambers, and it is to describe a jolly old party. I don't know why jolly old is in parentheses. I mean, it would just be a fun time, essentially. So, there is, of course, a downside. There's always got to be one, you guys. Come on, I can never really find anything that's 100% happy without something kind of quirky. There was, here, in 1896, the grandson of P.T. Barnum from Barnum and Bailey Circus. You guys all know who, you've all heard the name Barnum, I'm assuming, I would think. I have fur on me. Anyway, his grandson is, okay, let me get this right, Herbert Barnum Seeley. And he threw a party for his brother. I really do have fur in my mouth. Annoying. But he decided to throw a stag party for his brother in New York City. There was a hired dancer who went by the name Little Egypt. And if you look up Little Egypt, there were several people that actually danced under that name. So I'm not sure which specific person it was because I didn't try and match up all the dates. But there were, I think, 4 or 5 people listed that danced under that name. Basically, Little Egypt was, in every incarnation, an exotic belly dancer. Now, allegedly for this party, Little Egypt was known for dancing naked in desserts. I think that's where you get the whole girl popping out of the cake thing. I think they took the idea of stripper kind of from this and carried that through into what is more modern stuff. But what happened with the awful Seeley dinner or Seeley bachelor party orgy, whichever you want to call it, is that a police officer showed up and broke this up in the early hours of the morning. Now, here's the best part about this. The officer is the one who gets in trouble. Money, people. Money talks. The officer was later brought before the police board trial by the Seeley family for conduct unbecoming an officer. Yep, now you know. We're just gonna, that's the story. So that is one of the most often talked about bachelor parties because of the people involved, the dancer, the Barnum family, the whole thing. And because it was in New York City, so it was kind of a big to-do. But bachelor parties have been going on for a long time. Like I said, that one actually occurred in 1896. So it probably was a big deal, especially at that time period that this was going on. So now, modern day bachelor parties, well, they've gone through a few changes. They became pretty common in the 60s and 70s, and it's said that that's possibly due to the sexual revolution. And that's where you start getting things like where you have the drinking and the strippers and the debauchery and all of, all of the negative things that are associated with bachelor parties. Now they're actually going through another cycle where they're becoming more subdued, and a lot of them are adventure things. Hiking, camping, kayaking, that kind of stuff. And that's being attributed to the fact that a lot of people are getting married at an older age, and they've done that like early 20s partying thing already. So they're looking for more of a male bonding thing. It's not uncommon to do destinations, to do weekends, to do the whole thing with that. I mean, you guys pretty much know that. But it's actually turning away from the hangover type movies or the lovely old Tom Hanks. I want to say it's Tom Hanks, Adrian's Med. I know it's Tawny Kitaen. The movie's actually called Bachelor Party. And it was, I want to say, a couple decades before the hangover movies. So now they're changing again, and they're becoming, like I said, more almost, there's still a lot of times a formal dinner. Not always, but they're becoming more of that kind of thing where it's the group of guys getting together. It is more back to the brothers in arms type of thing. And it's considered a rite of passage in a lot of ways. It's all about male bonding. It's part of the larger celebration, and it's actually supposed to be honoring the next phase of life. So not everything about it has to be negative or bad, but there was a time period where it was booze and strippers. I mean, that's kind of probably what you all expect. So I was really, really interested to see the cyclical nature of it, how it had been more subdued. It was more about the dinner and that kind of thing. And a lot of times it used to be an actual formal, like black tie type of sit down dinner and sometimes the groom himself threw it. Now it's usually like a brother, the best man, close friend, whoever, sometimes it's all of the guys in the bridal party that'll get together and do it. And it is not limited to the bridal party. Other members or friends of the groom's circle, like his other family members that aren't necessarily in the wedding, that kind of thing, friends that aren't in the wedding party, all of that, are usually included too. But because of this whole weekend outdoorsy or whatever, however it's being done, the average cost now is at $1,532 per person. So it is a little bit different than the one night out, and a lot of times they did this months before the wedding, and then it got to be one of those where they did it the night before the wedding, and that changed rather quickly because people ended up too hungover to make it, still intoxicated, or in jail, So they started moving it further away from the weekend of the wedding just to make sure that everything and everybody was going to be okay for the actual ceremony. Just wait. Bachelorette parties are going to be along the same lines, I'm pretty sure. So, to get back to the products, let's talk about what I have decided to do for May. As I already said, for my the tree hut is staying in. I'm hoping that I will be able to finish that off, but like I said, I've got to monkey with it a little bit to get it a bit more usable. New. This is something I don't normally do, but I have the Saints, Angels, Sinners, Angel palette. Brand new. This is just another one of the little quads. And this one is going to look all white on the screen, or mostly white. Maybe you can see. But there's going to be, these are all going to be the iridescents. And so what I decided I wanted to do is I'm putting this in, and I would like to do just 2 uses for this project on each shade, just so that I can get a little bit of a feel for the colors, how they play like over other things like that, because I think they're pretty much going to be toppers. And I've got some ideas what I want to do, so there might be some pictures, maybe. I'm not real good at taking selfies. I hate doing my thumbnails. But we're going to throw the Angel palette by Saints Angel Sinners in. 2 uses, each shade, 4 shades. So that is my new. Now, my gifted, as well as finishing off my NYX, I decided to bring in, okay, people, this. I'm going to put the name above me, like I do, because that's, yeah, not English. What it is from my esthetician, actually. And this is, she gave me 2 of these when I had my procedure done, and I've used one. It's a cleanser. This is what it looks like. You twist the cap off, and then you can turn it upside down to seal it. And it is, my other glasses broke, so we got new ones. 5 milliliter, 0.1 fluid ounce. Now, I know I can go through this easily in a month, so I wasn't really tremendously worried about it. But like I said, I did use one immediately after the procedure. I did not need this one. It's an okay cleanser. It's nothing, in my opinion, fantastic. There are others that I prefer, but because it came from the esthetician's office, I'm assuming that's kind of their house brand at this point, because there were some other products that came with that too, all from that line, which the line is available at Ulta. I'm pretty sure. I looked it up because I don't know anything about it, and other than that. So that's, I had found it. Yeah, it was Ulta, not Sephora. If it's a item or product or line or whatever that you're interested or want to know more about, that's where you can find it. So now for my blue. This time it is actually blue. It is the Laneige Water Bank Moisture Cream. This is an 8 milliliter, 0.2 fluid ounce bottle. It is 11.2 grams. It is just a moisturizer, guys. So we're just going to throw it into the rotation, and I'm pretty sure I can get this done in a month. I'm working on multiple other moisturizers, and you know that I'd have 8 million serums. So adding in the little things like that do make it a little bit easier sometimes when they're just the small size. All right, that, I believe, with all of my piles of junk sitting around me, is everything for this update. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Until next time, see ya. Bye.